Good morning, everybody. There's hazelnuts I collected, look, in the little blackbird's nest. And the view from the kitchen window, which is all about that lovely dragon's breath there and the valley underneath Kilronan Mountain. Yesterday was such a busy day, I decided I was going to do some serious cutting back along the pathways. So I got my cordless, which is a rechargeable battery operated hedge trimmer out, and I started to trim back a lot of the hedges. Now I'm going to add a little bit to this video and let you see the finished product. But it was quite a full-on day because of course once you start something like this and you're moving along the paths, you just keep coming at more and more hedges and bushes and shrubs that need a trim back before the serious autumn weather and the winter weather takes hold. Because of course by that point it's usually too late. It's wet or windy or cold, and it's nice to work outdoors on such a pleasant day as this. So I've got my rake here now and I'm just about to rake up all the bits, and of course that gives me the opportunity to make another, what I fondly call, habitat pile. And of course whatever then breaks down in the habitat pile usually becomes some very useful kindling the following year. So it's a shelter for the birds over the course of the winter and the small mammals, and then it benefits me in the cottage, or as I was doing yesterday, the day before rather, Friday, firing up the Kelly kettle. So, a good day. Of course I got some aches and pains this morning when I got up, but that just tells me that I was using muscles that had been a bit sleepy or dormant. All the stretching and pulling and all the work, yeah. So here I am now going to tackle another piece of the luxurious growth. I've got to say as well that 2022 has been an incredible year for anything to grow. Trees, flowers, vegetables. I mean, it's been incredible, really magnificent. And absolutely nothing to complain about in terms of cutting back, because cutting back and preparing for autumn and winter is a very cyclical thing to do. And it helps you sort of pace out the seasons, you know. I mean, of course you know what season it is, just by the sheer growth. But, yeah. So I've got another very long hedge to do, and I've got a bit of tidying up to do. So I'm going to add a little video on just at the end of this. And I'm just recording this little voiceover out near the steps. So I'm just stood in the woodland. That's all the birds you can hear. It's amazing too, because as I walk around I'm finding loads more hazelnuts, and of course all the mushrooms, all the fungi are coming up, which again is another measure of the season. So not too long to go now until the leaves drop off the willow, and then there's a lot of willow to be harvested. So the nice slim stems, you know, for basketry. A couple of years ago, a friend of mine who makes willow baskets came up and asked me if she could harvest some willow, and I said, yeah, absolutely. And of course, all the time that you're cutting the willow back, it grows even better. So this is the logs in the stove in my little wood burner, and all those beautiful flames and warmth is coming from one source, and that is the beautiful woodland here at NO Cottage. And that's my little fire surround, my little mantelpiece. That little fire surround cost me €50 in a second-hand shop about 12 or 14 years ago. The mirror above the mantel, of course, was a beautiful mirror that my mother bought me, and sadly it broke. So, to avoid the 7 years curse and my mother's disappointment, yes, in order to avoid all those issues, especially my mother's disappointment, I used it to make a mosaic mirror above the fireplace. So you see, everything can be fixed. Well, as promised, this is the newly cut back and reopened path. I might take the hedge down a little bit more, I don't know. But it certainly is a lot more spacious walking through the paths. Here's the work that I did yesterday as well. You begin to see things are neatening up a little bit. And just on the other side of the ditch, look at that. Doesn't that look manicured? And then, later on yesterday, I got someone in to cut the willow that had fallen right over. See? So I've got quite a lot of logs out of it. And of course there's a new piece which is growing up here, which is just fine. That's going to be the new tree. And there'll be lots of new growth from here as well. Much of the twiggy, branchy stuff has been stacked here. And I'm just going to leave those there as habitat piles, let the leaves fall off them. And by about next spring or summer, most of this will be bare wooded kindling. Perfect. A good day's work. Well, I'm a bit exhausted. I've just come back from the boot fair. This is Sunday morning. I don't think it's 12 o'clock just yet. Look what I got. I paid €25 for it. Now it's thick with dust. So it'll need a wee bit of a clean, you know. But I'm just so delighted because it's quite slimline as well. But it's going to be great to put on one of the walls, you know, that I can put some of my books on. So of course, when you've got very little floor space, which I have here in the cottage, anything that'll go on the wall, like such, you know, you can get a few odds and sods up onto it, but especially books. Isn't that wonderful? Now, I want to show you something else as well. This beautiful fire screen. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And I thought about using it on one of the windowsills, you know, just to put in front of the window. So I'm delighted with that. And I happened to find, there's all my bags of shopping on the table because I did my shop as well, another Michael Kennedy piece. Now Michael Kennedy sadly has passed. I think he died, was it this year or last year? But let me just turn this around. Oh, she's just juggling it. Look, see, Michael Kennedy. Absolutely one of the most credible potters. And you know what I really like? Do you see this here? It's almost like a little goddess symbol. See the moons? Although it's not actually the moons. But the colours are beautiful, aren't they? Well, this is Sunday morning. This is me on Sunday morning before I go to the boot fair. So thank you all for tuning in and thank you for supporting the channel. And a special thanks to Patricia. Yes, Patricia, I got your email this morning and your donation. Thank you so very much. Bless you. So this was built in a cottage at the very beginning in 2004. This was the lane leading up to the cottage, as you can see. And this was the view from the front door. Well, it's a different view now.